What's going on? Welcome to the Forever Human podcast. My name is Slims, and this is a space where we talk about mainly perspective, mindset, how to get around this world as a human being. Today, I want to talk about something a little more pinpointed or detailed. Hear about this a lot. People ask me about this a lot, so I figured let me just try to make a little video about it. And basically, it's about if I was to start over and get into IT today, 2026, what would I do? What kind of methods would I use to do that? So I'm a software engineer. I've been doing IT work I've been doing computers for over 20 years, right? The very first computer I built was a Windows 95. I'm showing my age. I used to take floppy disks to school back in those days, right? So I've been in IT and computers for a while. And I've been fortunate enough to see a lot of the different growths. I talked about this in a video before where, when I was learning how to learn things about computers and everything, I had to go to the library, find a book, read the book, figure it out. That evolved to when we started getting AOL and the internet, to where I went to Ask Jeeves to learn more things. And then that evolved to Google. And now we have artificial intelligence, right? So I feel like I've been through some really significant changes when it comes to the IT world. For me, the reason why I would choose IT, not necessarily for money. Everybody knows, in the IT world, you can make a good amount of money. And I think that's because with the value that understanding how technology moves, you can offer that value to a lot of people in multiple faceted ways. And so because of that, it yields you a lot of different ways to make a lot of money. But to me, a lot of it, number one, is the freedom, right? The freedom of being able to work from home. I do work from home. I love working from home. I've been working from home for a few years now. And it's been great. It has its cons, but it definitely has its pros, and it really comes down to the mindset that you have while you're trying to work from home. But that can be a story for another day. But like I said, freedom, and then not just that, but again, the value. My whole thing is I don't try to think about, what's the best way to make a lot of money? How can I make the most money quickly? My brain thinks on how can I provide the best value? What is a problem that I can solve? Because I believe in residual effects. So if I learn how to solve a problem, if I can build an application that helps solve a problem for a wide scope of individuals, the residual of that is going to be equity in some kind of form, even if it's not a whole bunch of money, right? It may be networking. It may be getting, resources or riches, learning or finding a new community of people to teach me somewhere. I meet a CEO somewhere who's doing something because I've built this application and I'm talking to different people, going to different conferences, right? All of these things, they return a residual effect of some type of equity. And so between the value and the freedom, those are one of the two main things with it. And it always keeps your brain going. One thing about the IT career field that stops a lot of people and really slowed me down was imposter syndrome. There's a new damn everything every day. New language, new AI, new concept, new library. There's a new way to do it. There's always something new coming in IT. And so with that, you're always feeling like you're a beginner, right? I've been doing this for 15 years and I still, at least as far as work-wise, and I still have days when I come in and I get a new project and I'm like, I have no idea. I've got no idea where to start. Like, I don't know. Let me try to figure it out. Let me break down the problem and start to figure out where I need to start and start asking questions if I need to ask questions. But imposter syndrome is huge here. So on that, it's making me have to learn new things, making me go in and exercise my brain is another good piece or another good reason why I like to be in IT. So with that, I think a lot of people, most people's, I would say, what's the word I'm looking for? Motivation. Most people's motivation, I would say, to get in IT is going to be the remote work, first of all. Obviously, the possible income that you can get with doing it. But I think once they start to do it, being able to really get more clarity on what's going on in the world around you, right? Technology and computers are everywhere, literally everywhere, on your wrist, on glasses, all over the place. They're doing the neural thing, links in the brains. So it really behooves us and it really makes a lot of sense for us to learn more about how we are interacting with these tools around us, how the internet works so I can be more secure, how my phone works, how VPNs work. Understanding how all these things work will really help us be able to do a whole bunch of things in the world once we spend to take time and actually learn those different things. So if I was going to start over, let me try to make this a bit more detailed. If I was going to look into a specific thing, if it was me, my first thing I would look at is Microsoft 365. That would be the very first thing. Number one, it's a large company. Number two, you're dealing with something that's usually already secure. And because, obviously Microsoft is a large company, there's a lot of other businesses that have to use their tools, right? Which obviously gives you more job opportunities. So to pinpoint it, I would start with Microsoft 365 or basically just learn how to build a website. Learning how to build a website, even though we can use AI to do it immediately for us right now, fundamentals is key. Learning what HTML is, what CSS is, what JavaScript is, how web pages actually work. That's going to shift your thinking and shift your perspective when you look at different websites and different things as you move in the future. It happens to me now all the time. I'll go somewhere and look at an app and be like, why is the button here? Or why is this? They should probably put this here. And you'll be able to look at it now and know, oh, I know how that works. I know you can put this button here. I know you can do this. And so I think learning how to build a website, because they're everywhere, web apps, however you want to put it, that's also going to give you some good foundational knowledge for other things. Microsoft 365, where we're talking about Power Platform, SharePoint, Dataverse, Power BI. These are all different tools in the Microsoft space that offer a lot of good job opportunities. So if I was going to get in there, I may focus, if I'm trying to get there as quickly as possible or try to expedite this, I would try to focus on those areas. Now, the big piece is, well, how am I going to learn this stuff? And I did a video all about learning how to learn and all of those things. And this is where we talk about those tools that I personally use. One of them is Udemy, right? Number two, let's get this out the way, YouTube, probably where you're watching this. YouTube is a very good source of information. Udemy is always good because they have those courses kind of set in stone for you. So you can buy a basic bootcamp course for $16, and it's a zero to hero to show you everything from the beginning to the end about Microsoft 365, about how to build a website. Now, when you're doing this, it is going to get boring. It is not going to be IT as broad as it is. It's not super sexy in a lot of ways, especially when you're trying to learn how to do it. So these courses are going to have you go through things where in your mind, you're going to be like, I've never heard of this stuff. What are these terms? What is a OData? What's dot notation? None of this. It's really going to require you to take that information and do some more self-research, do some more going into artificial intelligence, going to ChatGPT and say, hey, taking a Udemy course, I see this term. What does this mean? Can you break this down and dumb it down for me? Doing that will help kind of go through the fog, right? When I was trying to learn, it was just getting books from the library. I had to figure out what the hell they were talking about, and then I didn't know, and so then I had to ask my dad or ask somebody for some kind of help. And on that note, with that, there's also Discord groups. So if you don't know what Discord is, just think of it as an application that you can use to talk to a lot of people, but it also holds a lot of different communities. People have different Discord servers, and there are servers out there specifically for learning how to code, for learning how to hack, for learning Microsoft 365, for anything you can think of, there's a Discord server on it. And on that Discord server is a nerd who is waiting for you to show up and say, hey, I need help learning how to do this. Because when you go and learn how to ask for help, that's a big thing I feel like people don't like to do. They want, I got to figure this out on my own. That's just going to slow you down. Try to take some time to know what you can know. Give yourself 30 minutes and say, I'm going to try to figure this out. If you can't figure it out, ask somebody for help. That is what they're there for. And well, obviously that's what they're there for, but that's why a lot of people are in those communities. Because the next thing that I would say when it comes to trying to learn something new, especially in the IT world, is teaching what you know. So let's say you took how to build a basic HTML website course. It'd take you probably 45, 60 minutes, depending on your learning type or the video you choose. You go through that video and now you know how to build a HTML with CSS and a JavaScript website, right? With a button that does something. You know how to create that now. With that information that you have, there are millions of people who have zero idea how to do what you just did. When you go back and teach somebody Oh yeah, you can go here and this is what a paragraph tag is, and this is what a link tag is, and this is how you make a header. When you start to show people that from a mental perspective, you're going to gain way more confidence. Not just confidence in what you're doing, but confidence in the fact that you've learned something, you've executed on it, and then also you've taught somebody. You've done almost like a full circle. And so I always encourage people when they're learning something new, learn that piece, go to these communities and find people who need help and help them the way that you can help them. That way it solidifies your knowledge. You've been able to help somebody else and you've gained that confidence to go to that next step of the new thing that came out that you have no idea about. But now you know how you learned the previous thing. You just apply those same steps, right? This works with anything, but especially in the IT world. Now, a lot of people I know are afraid because of college and experience. You want to apply for a job, right? I always highly suggest if you're going out there, let's say you want to do Microsoft 365, go on ChatGPT, think about some titles, look up some things, and see what they're looking at in the job description. As soon as everybody does it, look, well, they want 5 years of experience. I'm just starting. I don't have no experience. I've never worked at a job doing this. One thing about IT that I love is that there's a proof of concept type of idea, meaning, for example, if you have an Outlook account right now, so if you have an email account like I have one, whatever, at outlook.com. With that Outlook account, you also have access to Microsoft Teams. With Microsoft Teams, you also have access to SharePoint and the Microsoft 365 space. Funny enough, Microsoft actually gives you a complete dev environment for access to all of the things for free. You just have to apply for it, you'll get it, and then you literally have this entire space for free. So what does that mean? How is that valuable? You can take the information that you learned and quite literally just start building things to show as your proof of concept. Now you're right, you don't have the 5 years on paper working for a specific company doing that specific thing, but you do have the knowledge and being able to speak. I would say that's probably the more important piece when it comes to IT, is going to be really what gets you there in the door. I got a buddy who started off working mainly in cell phones, and now my man works at Apple. He did the work. He sat down and studied for certificates. He's been cranking it out. He failed a lot, went back, did it again until he figured it out. And now he's working at Apple. And when he did get his job at Apple, the guy told him straight up, it was literally his ability to communicate was really the main things. Because when it comes to coding, when it comes to Microsoft 365, whatever it is, it's pretty easy to sit down and tell someone, hey, you click this button that says edit page, and then you click this button to add a new button that says add button, right? They're not difficult steps, but getting them to be able to communicate with the customer, being able to take a high level technical problem and break that down to a user or customer to where it makes sense for them. That's where the value's at, right? A lot of the time in IT, especially in software engineer world, most of my time is dealt with getting requirements or getting what they want for this solution or this product versus actually doing the project. Doing the project usually is the easiest part because I already have a plan or a design that I'm following. And so once that's approved, I'm just doing exactly what's already there. And so soft skills, which aren't really soft at all, I like to call them human skills, are really going to be the delineating factor. And so it's going to be difficult, and it can be difficult without experience to get into those rooms. You're not ignorant to that at all, because some people may not see that and let it go. But it depends on how you structure your resume and how you can communicate when you get in those rooms and being able to show those things. I know people who's literally just been able to say, hey, if we can get on a call, I can show you the solution that I've made. I think it could be helpful, so on and so forth. And then next thing you know, they've got a $10,000 project being able to help this company optimize their Microsoft 365 space. The opportunities are endless. And of course, it's easy to kind of just come up with anything and be like, oh, well, it's not going to work because I don't have 5 years, so it's out the window. But you really don't know until you get into the room and have the conversation. Give yourself that opportunity. Now, with these tools, like I said, with Udemy and YouTube, it's really easy, and I got caught in this, to get caught in like this gathering information research phase where you're just learning, and it feels good because you're learning stuff and you're building projects, and like it feels real good to kind of get in that space, and then you're watching video after video after video. After a while, the videos need to kind of tone down and you need to move to particular projects. Repetition is key. Going through particular projects, making different things. Luckily, we have ChatGPT that you can use and say, hey, can you give me 5 projects that I can make as a website for things to show on my portfolio for companies? Boom, 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 boom. Here you go. Once you learn how to build that website, or once you learn how to build these things, you can learn how to create a portfolio of tools that can be tailored to whatever that specific thing is. So let's say you want to work in the medical space. You can build certain dashboards, or you can build certain things that company might want to see. And when they see that proof of concept, the actual thing that you've created, and you can go through and explain it to them, and you can show them the documentation that you've made, it shows that you know how to do the job. And there are companies out there who will grab at that regardless if you have a degree, because you have the knowledge, right? Degrees do go far. I'm not saying you should not have a degree, but I'm also saying a degree is not a stopping factor. It's just another piece of a puzzle. The hardest part, I think, for most people when it goes over to trying to learn IT is honestly going to be from a mental perspective. This space is, I feel like, almost not gate kept, but especially when I started, it seemed like you got to be really smart. Only the smart guys can be programmers, and you got to think so logically. And there are parts where you do, but you learn that over the course of time. When I first started, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I was trying to build a website. I got to JavaScript, and it was talking about functions, and I almost was like, this ain't for me. I'm not gonna get it. And then the next day I went and I sat down and I went on YouTube and I went through about 3 or 4 videos trying to figure out this thing about callback functions is what it was. And I ended up finding a video from some guy over in India with 500 views, and I think he had like 200 subscribers. But the way he described it made it perfect sense in my mind. And when that happened, I realized that it wasn't the fact that I could never figure it out. It was just I had to find that specific way for it to kind of click in my brain. That may take a few times. You may have to watch a couple of videos. You may have to talk to somebody who does it. Hey, I know you work on this. I'm trying to figure this out. Can you explain it? Eventually, at some point, you're going to run into somebody or a video or something that's going to explain it to you to a point to where you're going to be like, I got it now. I got it now. And once you do that, you can go on to the next thing. And that's going to work with every little phase as you go through trying to learn whatever specific topic you are trying to learn within the IT space. I think it's worth it. I think it takes a lot of time, but the hardest part is going to be that beginning piece and you kind of removing those thoughts out of your mind telling you that you can't do it. As cheesy as it sounds, as long as you stick to it and as long as you keep with repetition, you're going to learn. And with so many new things coming out, right? AI came out and they came up with a whole new career, prompt engineer, which is literally just somebody learning how to ask AI questions. This is an over 6-figure position, right? There's going to be so many new opportunities coming up. You need to be able to look at those and say, hey, this is something that I want to do. Let me go ahead and find a course on it. Let me take 30 minutes a day, maybe 2 hours a week. And I guarantee you over the next 6 months, not only will you have the knowledge to do something, but in that discovery phase, you'll find a way to be valuable to another business or somewhere else. And in turn, you'll get those residuals. And that's really the whole point. But that's all I had to say about trying to transition. If you wanted to go into that space, if I was to start over and to get into the IT space, that's kind of how I would do it. Like I said, I would find a trade, find a specific thing, whether it's web development, Microsoft 365. I say those two because those are probably the best ones to start right now. But even cybersecurity, which is great. You can go to tryhackme.com. It's a good website. But I would start there, learn that, go to Udemy, find a course, set a schedule for yourself. You don't have to discipline yourself and not have fun no more in your life. Just take 30 minutes, 20 minutes a day, go through, set a schedule, make projects. And in that process, I promise you will find different ways and different things to change your life. My name is Slims TV. This is the Forever Human Podcast. Hope this helps somebody today. That's all I got. Out to Luke.